You know what always cheers me up? Rolled up aces over kings. Check raising stupid tourists and taking huge pots off of them. Playing all-night high-limit hold'em at the Taj. Stacks and towers of checks I can't even see over. And the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
This is 234. I see your little cursor blinking on the. I love Google Docs.
I do too. Did you just see me doing the editing there?
Yeah, I'm watching you do the whole editing thing.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back. I guess we started the episode. So Doug sent me the show notes, and we're in Google Docs, and so I've been editing the show notes, and he's like, "I see your cursor, I see your changes."
It used to be when you're in Google that I had to refresh my screen, and I don't even know how they do that. The other thing I don't know how you really do is I have a remote. My mom, she's not the best computer person. And literally, if she needed to get onto her bank account or anything, I would have to walk her through it. And you know how hard it is to walk through something with somebody that, you know, if you say, take your mouse. Okay,
I don't want to get into the long story about it. I'm going to give the very quick version. But my father, who is 74 now, right? Yeah. I was trying to do that with him. And all he had to do was copy a file from one place to another, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Literally, I tried for 40 minutes to walk him through this, and he never got it. I mean, something that literally takes me 5 seconds to do. I couldn't walk him through it in 40 minutes.
Just Nice Guy community. So if you don't know this, first of all, that guy over there, his name is Strickland Bonner. He never introduced himself. I didn't introduce myself either. My name is Doug Sandler. We are the Nice Guys on Business, and this is our podcast. If you don't like it, we are really sorry. We're going to work it out on the Mondays and Fridays show. If you like this kind of thing, just stay tuned Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
And by the way, I love my dad, and he has a ton of strengths. All right. There are some things that he is absolutely amazing at. Technology is not one of them.
Well, if I remember correctly, when we first started recording the show, he sent you a typewritten letter telling you that he doesn't appreciate your
He liked the podcast. He liked that we're doing this, and he says it's interesting, but we curse too much. Yeah, we curse too much. And I took that advice and decided that I appreciated the fact that he was giving it to me and made the choice to ignore it.
Well, no, you took the advice and you said, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to curse anyway.
No, but you see, of course you didn't say. That's not really, and it's funny because it's actually not really true. I may have said that like as a joke, but you know, any feedback that we get from customers, you make the choice to agree with it or not agree with it. But you know, the reality, hey, let's get into actual business advice just very quickly, right? Like
what? It's Tuesday. Do we have to?
If your customers are saying something to you, you know what? It's okay to make the choice to disagree with their suggestions. But really, as soon as you say, I don't give a fuck, basically what you're saying is you don't even want to hear it. And that is a mistake.
Yeah, I had Peter Shankman on the show. I don't remember what episode it is, but it was like last week. I think it was last Friday. It was just Friday's episode 232, if I remember correctly, is the episode number. Yeah. He talks about companies that send out the we value your opinion, but it's coming from a no reply email address.
That's funny.
It's like, don't hit reply. Your emails will not be read here. So why the hell do they even send them out to begin with? I mean, you can send your suggestions, but I guess there's a whole different form. One of the things that he had said on the interview was that, do you have any suggestions? And this was through like an airline that he flies a lot. I can't remember, United or one of the big boys. And he said, yes, one of my suggestions, I want you to call, me, you're like your, a high honor, whatever, exalted man of the airwaves for 232 flights or something like that, or 500 flights or whatever. He says he flies 250,000 miles a year. He said every time that they sent him that email asking if they could do anything differently, he would hit reply every time and say, yes, I want to be referred to as such and such and such. And at no time did they ever respond like, hey, we appreciate you sending this, but can you stop sending that fucking thing? We don't care. We're not going to do that. He said, even if they would have just responded like they're even getting my email, it makes me think that if there is actually a problem and I only have it once, right, and I send that they're not listening to me anyway.
Right.
So
it's so important. Even if you decide to not take the advice of a customer of yours, you have to at least listen, and you should let them know that you heard it, even if you disagree or are not going to do it.
I can tell you one thing for sure, that we promise to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. Now, that is our promise statement. That's the Nice Guys on Business promise statement. So if I ever miss saying that, I do apologize ahead of time. But more importantly, if you ever send us any information that says, hey, we need this to improve the show, or we think that your show should add more of this or take out some of that, like Strickland's dad with the cussing, we definitely would take it into account. But I know one thing for sure is we would respond.
We wouldn't. You all, the listeners, you wouldn't know that because you haven't reached out to us. Okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe they need to do a little bit more of that. But I think we have created this experience. We've really created this environment. I think to a degree, Strick, it actually is our fault.
Okay.
I don't know what
change it then. That's
I don't know.
Because you know what, you're right. You know what's interesting? Oh my God, we have so many tangents already. We haven't I got into an accident over the weekend and I rear-ended a guy, and it was stupid, and I wanted to blame him, but it was really my fault. Let's get back into that later because I don't want to go on that tangent yet. That's going to be a long story.
Today's Tuesday. Today is Tangent Day. How
have we created this though? I like this topic. I want to know how we've created this.
Well, we have created. We're kind of like Frankenstein. We've created Frankenstein's monster. We created an environment where I think we are maybe a little bit, I think to a degree, we probably do confuse our audience a little bit. We are called the Nice Guys on Business podcast. And when we started this podcast, that was exactly what we were doing. Mm-hmm. We were bringing a couple of we weren't even bringing the interviews. We brought a couple of episodes a week. You and I would discuss all of these things related to business. And then we discovered through, I guess, chatting with some people in our community that they kind of liked when we go off on these tangents. And then we started doing that more than the interviews.
Okay, so that's a good thing, right? So we're doing what people want and we're getting more downloads, but they're still not reaching out to us with feedback. We still need more feedback. I think that
the people that do feedback to us, the people that provide us with feedback, are the ones that want to. I think that we get. We had Tim Hill. I remember that was just a couple of weeks ago. It might have been last week. What was he talking about? He sent us we asked for
the 10cc, right? That was the thing that we bleeped out that I was talking about the origins of 10cc.
We've had 10. So let's look at it. Let's really examine what we have. We have about 2,000 people that listen every episode on a consistent basis, somewhere in that area, because about 30 days into each episode, that's about the download count that we have for each episode. We have about 40,000 downloads a month, 30 to 40,000 downloads a month, let's just call it.
Which is still amazing to me.
Which is amazing, and we're extremely happy about that. Now, let's look at it. I can't name everybody that has reached out to us, but Tim reached out to us. Mm-hmm. We have Mar and Prosh that reach out to us a lot from San Francisco. We have Stephanie Sersland. We have the Susan Sweet and her husband Alan that are listeners to the show. We have Sean Carpenter. We have Casey Cornelius. We have Sonny. We have Stacy Sherman. We have so many people. Nick Mazzotti. All of these people, Scott Miller. I'm just naming people. I'm not even thinking. I don't have a list in front of me. Mm-hmm. I've just named 10 or 15 people that I know are engaged and that contribute on a regular basis to the show.
Yeah. Okay. You're right.
We look at that and we just say, we look at that and we say, well, we don't have, we have 2,000 people. We should have more people that are actually communicating. I don't know. I don't agree. Think about it this way. I listen to We Are Concerned, which is another podcast. I love it. It's not about anything specifically. They just do stupid role-playing kind of things, and not in a sexy way role-playing. They just read an article and then they do role-playing stuff. Mm-hmm. For me, I've never contributed to the show. They ask for a call to action. They have a sign up page through Patreon that you can contribute to their show. I've never done any of that, but I would consider myself a fan of their show. I am a concerned citizen, which is what they call their audience.
That's fine.
But I don't at all contribute. I don't even consider when they ask for people to contribute to the show that I'm even one of the people that they're talking to.
Nice guy. Last week we did reach out and say, hey, we want, geographically, we want to know where you're from. We want to hear shout outs. And did we get any?
We actually did.
Doug, you didn't even tell me this. We actually got shout outs.
Hold on a minute. We did. Shit. Who did we get one from?
You take show notes, right? Like you send me topics we're going to talk about, and you didn't even mention that.
Hold on. Oh my God. You know what? I was so in a tizzy today. I finally did a couple of things that you wanted me to do. Like I watched Rounders because you keep quoting that fucking show, that movie all the time. So I was really excited to get on to today's podcast episode and start talking about Rounders. And yeah, before we get tomorrow's show, I'm going to mention a couple of people that actually contributed and sent a message. I have them right in my inbox. I just haven't gotten. It's been a very busy weekend, Strickland.
Okay, so tomorrow, if you want to hear about your shout outs, then I guess you got to listen to tomorrow's show. And I'm going to hold you to that, Doug. We're going to do tomorrow's show.
Yeah, I definitely will share with you, and maybe we can figure out how to get the audio. I don't know how to take it off of YouTube. I mean, off of Twitter. We'll have to figure something like that out.
They did audio on Twitter?
Not just an audio, but they actually did a video too. And I remember it was Prosh. It was Prosh. Prosh actually did it. He lives in San Francisco, and he's had a business meeting in London. So he did the Twitter video. I don't know what that would call a tweetio. A tweetio. He did that he did it in London. So that's pretty cool. Not only did he do it in London. So we only got one, or we got a couple? I mean, Prosh, I love you, but was it just the one? No more. It's like you're never satisfied, Strickland. What can I? If I said I got 5, you would say, well, didn't we have 6? I thought you said we had 6. I think we had a couple, and I'm trying to remember where they were. I know Prosh was one of them. So, oh my gosh, can we talk about Rounders for a second?
Oh yeah. So okay, anybody who hasn't seen Rounders, did we introduce ourselves?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'm Strickland Bonner. That's Doug Sandler on the other side of the mic. We are the nice guys on business, just in case we didn't do it. Okay, so Rounders is like one of my favorite movies, right? Matt Damon and I want to say Ben Affleck, but that's not right. Ed Norton. And it's about poker, right? And this came out like before the poker craze. This was like 2004 or something, but it's just this great movie about poker. And if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. But Doug, what did you think of it? And by the way, some of our intros that you people may not have recognized, like
if you can't spot the sucker,
right. If you can't spot the sucker in your first 30 minutes at the table, then you are the sucker. Which, of course, we've changed to You Are the Nice Guys on Business for Steve O'Brien. But there's another one that I'll have as the intro today about rolled up aces over kings. That'll be our intro from Steve O'Brien today. You know what makes me happy? Rolled up aces over kings. Anyway, that's the movie. So if you have no idea what it's about, then you should listen. Doug, what do you think of the movie?
Okay, so I'm not a poker fan, but I am a fan of movies, and I do love movies. Like I watched this past weekend, I watched Once Upon a Time in the West. I watched Rounders. I watched a couple of them on Netflix because I can't spend my entire life in front of this fucking computer. I just keep saying I've got to do something other than that. Between working and doing social media posts, I don't like to ever have to leave my house if I can avoid it. So fortunately, I have the kind of job that allows me to leave the house on a very limited basis. I wouldn't be exactly considered a shut-in.
Hey, Doug, by the way, are you recording? Because apparently I'm not. I just noticed that.
Holy shit.
You're not. No, I am recording. Hang on. It is counting down. Why did it look like it stopped for a minute there? Never mind. Okay, go ahead.
It's that great PC product that you have, I'm sure. Anyway, so I'm not a huge fan of poker. However, I was a big fan of this movie. I think I would give it. Now we have to come up with some sort of nice guy rating system. Like Rotten Tomatoes has a couple of. What do they have? They have tomatoes. They have
tomatoes, like a percentage. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we think of something that would be cool for us? Because we do watch between the two of us. You reference movies all the time. I can't remember shit about any movie, but I do remember the movies that I like. But I don't remember like quotes. I mean, I don't know. How do you remember quotes from movies?
I don't know, because I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. But, that's the ADD brain, I think, that Peter Shankman talked about. It's like things that are important to you, they get into your brain and they're just stuck there. And things that are not important to you, no matter how hard you focus on them, sometimes you just can't get it to stick.
So originally when I heard about the movie Rounders, for some reason in my head, I thought it was a movie about like spaceships or something. It was not about poker. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't realize that every quote was actually, if you can't spot a sucker in the first half hour, whatever it was, then you are the sucker. That is actually a poker quote. And then you don't realize it until you're watching the movie and you're seeing it play out. What a great movie. Matt Damon plays a great role. And Ed Norton plays a great role. I think was his character Worm or something like that?
Right, Worm.
But they play these characters that are actually caricatures of people, like, to the extreme. Like, Worm just plays this guy that he just doesn't give a shit about life. He has so little disregard for ethics and morals, and he's still a good guy. You want to love the guy, but he's just such an ass. You just want to hate him too.
Yeah, it's
great
all
movie.
about him. Yeah,
great.
And then John Malkovich plays the Russian guy who runs the poker room. Yeah. Oh my God, he is the best. Kid, chick, all night long. Kids got alligator blood. Oh my God!
Tiger blood.
Oh my God!
Yeah, good movie. Really good movie. Nice Guy Community. If you have not watched Rounders, take a moment and do that. I also watched. I don't know if you're a Western fan, but I do love. Is there any era in life or in history that you think that you would like to go back to, just to be either an observer or to see it, or just to kind of see how it like plays out?
That's an interesting thought. I don't know. I don't know. The American Revolution was probably pretty interesting time, I would think.
Yeah. So you go from like the 1700s when all that shit was going down, right? And then you get into the 1800s, which is like the frontier time and the finding of the Great West and in America. And all of these cowboy roles start to come to the forefront, and the railroad, and where guys were hardworking and there were gunslingers and that. I don't think I could have survived for more than about 10 minutes if I lived outside of the city. Like, if I was a frontier guy, no fucking way would I have survived.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wanted to clarify that I would love to go back and be there as an observer, like from my bubble with my cell phone and my air conditioning, but I wouldn't actually want to live there now.
No, everything was like dirty. It's just like these guys in the Once Upon a Time in the West. I think it was Sergio Leone. It was a spaghetti western. It was like the stereotypical western, and it was great. The railroad and the discovering the Great West, and the women were all whores, and the guys were all gunslingers, and it was just ridiculous, and it was amazing at the same time. And they did not a remake of the movie, but they remastered the movie. So as they remastered the movie, the color is perfect, and the actors, they look like it's today's actors, but just in old roles, obviously because of the 1800s. But it looks like the movie could have been made in 2016. It was just that good. Dialogue was a little off because they had to remaster the voices, and I'm sure they were a little rough, so the lips weren't quite moving to the words in some very close-up shots. But for the most part, just a great movie, and you're loving all the action, and it's so stereotypical with the shots and the that one. Yeah, you got the harmonica playing, and you have the the strings and all. Just a great movie. If you have not seen that movie either, highly recommend it, but you're going to invest over 2 hours to watch that movie. I think it was like 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
And Rounders was like 1 hour and 45 minutes, which is pretty typical. But go back, take a moment, and check those movies out. Thank you, Strickland, for bringing Rounders into my life. And
so maybe we need another page on the website that is our movie reviews.
Oh, man, that would be really cool.
But we do need to come up with a nice guy rating system. But let's think about that. I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent on that today, because we have too many other tangents to get off on already.
But yeah, that's right. But Nice Guy Community, if you do have any movies, you can start us off right. If you do have any movies that you would like us to review.
Oh, good idea.
If you have any movies that you would like us to review, just go ahead and tweet me. I am at DJ Doug, and Strickland is at Nice Guy on Biz with a Z at the end. So if you want us to review a movie, that'd be cool. I would do that. I would totally.
Hey, anything that listeners, if you reach out to us, I mean, you can say, "Hey, could I get a picture of you standing on your head?" We'd be so happy that you reached out. We would do it. We don't care.
No, we would pretty much do anything. But if we just stick down the line of today, we're just going to ask you for a movie.
One thing
I would love to review a movie, but could you do me a favor? If it's one on Netflix, can you do it so that, if it's off of Netflix, can you get me one I can get in, non-HD? Because they're expensive.
You'd have to actually buy it or rent it from Amazon or something.
Yeah, but I would use the Amazon link so that we could actually get a. Oh man, speaking of the Amazon link, Strick. Okay, Tell me about the product that was bought, because I'm ready. We made reference to this on tomorrow's show.
So Nice Guy Community, if you do not know already, we have a link on our show notes that is to Amazon.com. And if you all would use that whenever you shop on Amazon, we'd really appreciate it. It does not change your shopping experience at all. It costs you nothing more, but it does help support the show. So that's a really easy way you can support the show. We get a little tiny commission on anything that you buy. It is a link in the show notes. Just click on it. And then as soon as you click on it, put a bookmark and just write Amazon.com, so that whenever you go to Amazon, you just click on that link and you shop. And, we get a little commission. We really appreciate it.
Enough of that. I want to hear what we bought this week.
Let's take a look at the last 7 days on Amazon and see.
I bought something, so I'm hoping mine appears on there.
Zombie Loyalists. Somebody bought a copy of Zombie Loyalists.
Really?
Yeah. So that's great.
I was
Which is
given
Peter
a
Shankman's
copy.
book. That's our Friday interview.
I was given a copy of Zombie Loyalists. Great book by Ryan Ayers for being a guest on his show. So I wasn't the purchaser of Zombie Loyalists, but thank you, a Nice Guy community member.
I thought Zombie Loyalists was Peter Shankman.
Yeah, it is.
You just said Ryan Ayers.
No, I was given a copy of Zombie Loyalist by Ryan Ayers, who was a guest on our show. Peter Shankman, he did not, nor has Peter. You know I love you, but could you retweet some of your show promo that I put out there for you?
Okay, so then the other two products that were bought this week, we would love to do product of the week, because there's so many of them that we can only mention one or two, but now there were only 3 all week. So the other one is Primal Kitchen Paleo Approved Avocado Oil Mayo.
Okay, that was me.
Is that you?
Yeah, okay. That was me.
That was you? Because then there's one other one that I'm guessing is probably you too.
Yeah.
Nut Pods Unsweetened Dairy-Free Creamer Variety 3-pack. Because for those of you who don't know, Doug is on the
Whole 30.
The Whole 30. And so he cannot have he's allowed to have coffee, but not allowed to have creamer in his coffee, which is kind of
actually, and I talk, it's a little, the whole diet is, it's what's really, a couple of really fun things about the diet. I can share 1 or 2 of them with you. Some of them I'm not sure would reach it past the censors, so I'm not sure I'm able to. Anyway, yes, we are the perpetrators of the avocado mayonnaise and the nut pod creamer. Hey,
wait a minute, Doug. You know what? We could use this as an opportunity.
Oh, go ahead.
To get people to reach out. You say, Nice Guy Community, there are certain things that go along with the Whole 30. They're a little graphic. I'm not sure we should talk about it. But one of them is, and that's kind of a really weird side effect of, Doug, I don't know that we could actually mention that on the podcast. We may have to bleep that out.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So Strick, I'm going to ask you to censor that, right?
Yeah. Well, we might have to just censor that. And hey, you know what? How about if somebody reaches out to us at 4242 DJ Doug and records it and says, hey, I want to know what one of those uncomfortable, inappropriate side effects of the Whole 30 are. That thing that you beeped out that Doug wouldn't say. If somebody reaches out to us, we'll put it up on the Nice Guy Facebook.
It's a little too graphic to explain right here on the air. I'm a little uncomfortable, even in my own juju, to be able to share that information. However, can I talk about this Whole 30 program for just a second, because it's really cool. Today is the Tuesday episode. So we're at episode, what is it, 230? The heck is this? Let me just see what episode this is. Not that it really matters. It's 234, episode number 234.
Okay.
So I'm on this Whole 30 program. Whole 30 is a diet. Although I don't need to lose any weight, it completely cleans your act. All right. So it puts you in a position where you're eating raw proteins, meats, vegetables, fruit, non-processed, nothing that's sugar, no alcohol, no dairy, no wheat. So you've basically boiled your entire schedule, your entire eating into whole food ingredients. And it really is amazing. I've been on the program now for over a week. So it's a 30-day program. I'm now 7 days into it. First 3 or 4 days, I would say there was a headache. I was, just kind of a little bit meh just about it, because I'm like, this is not exciting. Then when you get to day 5 or 6, the things that kick in are I slept 8 hours last night without waking up once. Mm-hmm. That never happened. I mean, very rare does that happen in my life. There's always 1 or 2 little just my head is clear. I'm feeling good. A little bit less achy in my joints. My back doesn't hurt the way that it normally does. Just a lot of things that are totally good. And Strickland, in the meantime, has gone through and he's had a lot of beer and a lot of pizza while I've been on this program. How do you feel, Strick?
Well, Doug, I got to tell you, the pizza and the beer, they still taste great. All right.
All right, Dennis Leary.
By the way, I'm looking at your Nut Pod unsweetened dairy-free creamer. It says it's free from dairy, soy, added sugars, and free from carrageenan. So basically, it's free from shit that I didn't even know was bad for me and have never heard of before. What the hell is carrageenan?
I think it's a thickening agent. I think it stabilizes it so that it doesn't separate. Okay. I think. And a lot of times we put stuff in. Did you realize that like HaagenDazs has their own trucks? HaagenDazs delivers ice cream. And I thought it was just a branding thing for them. They have their own trucks because they want to control the temperature of the food at all times from the time it leaves the factory to the time that it gets to the store.
That is very interesting. Actually, I did not know that. Back in the 70s, you could only get Coors in like the Colorado area, right? And that was the whole premise of Smokey and the Bandit with Burt Reynolds back in like 76 or 77 was that they were trying to smuggle a truckload of Coors beer down to Texas because they couldn't have it in Texas. And that was the reason. Coors basically said, hey, we brew it cold or something, whatever they do. And we keep it cold and it has to stay cold all the time, all the way through. And that's the only way we're going to serve it.
Well, what happens is a lot of foods, if you take them from one temperature extreme to another, even for a short period of time when they go back to the original temperature extreme that they were at, like ice cream, for example, will get those little crystal formations.
That's true.
So they try to eliminate a lot of the process and the ingredients that they put into. There's like a lot. Imagine something as simple as ketchup. Okay. You can't have ketchup as a part of the Whole30 program because there's things like corn syrup and thickening agents and emulsifiers and things that will keep it shelf stable. Mm-hmm. When things aren't shelf stable, they go bad in a week. And so you have a lot of waste. So companies figure, all right, what can we get through the FDA and allow consumers to eat it so that over a short period of time or even a long period of time, they won't get sick. Maybe over the lifetime of using the same ingredient over and over and over again, they will either develop allergies. They don't know. Heinz doesn't mean for us to develop allergies, but they're trying to make a profit.
Right.
So the ingredients, the chemicals, the dyes, the food colorings, we want to have ketchup that is red, bright red. Mm-hmm. Even what if you went to the store right now and you saw mayonnaise that was purple?
No, I mean, they've done studies where we know that most people will link the way something tastes to the way it looks. And they've done studies where they'll do sodas and they'll change the colors of them and they'll give you a grape flavored soda and it'll be colored yellow, and they'll give you a lemonade flavored soda and they'll cover it purple. And people are like, oh yeah, the purple one, it tastes like grape soda because it looks like grape soda.
It looks like, and so your mind goes to your mind obviously is a part of the whole buying process. So people don't want to buy shit that doesn't look like they think it's supposed to look like. I don't know if you remember the first time you ate, and I think we had this conversation before, but eggs, I used to eat only like white eggs. If I saw a brown egg, I would think that's kind of weird. I'm not going to eat that. Mm-hmm. And then the first time that I started the Whole30 program, the first time, because this is the third time I've been on it over the last few years, it's only for a 30-day period. It's not like a whole life of eating. It just helps you change your mindset to the food that you're approaching and the food that you're eating. Anyhow, the first time I ate brown eggs, I'm like, I'm afraid. I'm kind of afraid to eat brown. I don't know what I'm afraid of. It's just the shell, mm-hmm. the yolk and the white. That all looks the same. It's mm-hmm. still a yolk that's yolk colored and a white that's white colored. Mm-hmm. So why is it that we are afraid to eat things that don't look? I don't know. Anyway, so this Whole30 program, they've eliminated all of if you look at the normal list of ingredients on pretty much any food that's in your refrigerator, and especially any food that's in your cabinet that's shelf stable. Oh, yeah. After you get past the first 2 or 3 ingredients, it's all like things you've never heard of, like carrageenan.
Well, you know what else is funny? It's all about advertising sometimes. I got candy corns for Halloween coming up, right? I love candy corns. And on the packaging, it says made with real honey. Oh, okay, cool. That's cool, right? There are, I believe, if I remember correctly, about 12 ingredients in candy corns, right? Honey is the 9th ingredient. I swear to God, it is after like 3 different kinds of corn syrup and sugar and all this other crap. The only thing that honey, and for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most people do, but you have to list ingredients in the order that they are in there. In other words, the first ingredient is what it has the most of, and the next ingredient is what it has less of and less of and less of. So bottom line is, out of 12 ingredients, honey being the 9th, it means that there's almost no honey in it. The only thing it has more of, the only thing it has less of than honey.
Let me guess. Okay, so like yellow, red, and brown dye.
Yeah, it was something like that. I got to go look it up again. But I mean, really, the honey was behind like 5 other weird ingredients that I would be like, what the hell is that? I mean, like, they put 1 drop of honey into a batch of this stuff, and they get to put, hey, real honey on the package. It's ridiculous.
Hey, guess what, Strick?
We
managed to get through an entire episode without talking about the one subject I had written down.
You know, Doug, let me make a suggestion. When we do your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday shows, when you send me show notes, don't even have a topic on Tuesday, because it never happens. You know, the beginning of the week, we're catching up from the weekend. We start talking, and we almost never get to a topic on Tuesday.
Somebody, I can't remember who it was, but I ran into somebody this past week. I can't remember who it was. Anyway, so part of the conversation was, don't you guys run out of things? Oh, no, I remember who it was. Okay, I won't mention her name. But because I know she's a listener to the show and probably would prefer not to be shouted out about this particular thing. But she's like, I have a podcast too, she was talking about. And she's like, I constantly am running out of topics to talk about. So I thought, no, I don't think Strick and I have ever had an issue about running out of topics to talk about.
But you know what's interesting? Does she do her podcast by herself?
I don't know. I've actually never listened to it.
The reason we never even come close to running out of topics, it's the dynamic between the two of us. You know, if I were doing a podcast by myself, I could easily see running out of topics, but it's just the way you and I shoot the shit. I mean, that's what keeps it, I think, you know.
Maybe so. I hope by the time that we get to next week's recording, I hope that we are able to review one more movie. I think it would be great. I would love a regular movie review kind of thing. That would be
there you go. Let's reach out to our listeners. And if you can tweet or email us or record at 4242 DJ Doug and tell us a movie that you would like us to watch and review, we would love that. And I prefer ones that are like a little less mainstream, like maybe if it's a little campy, or like Rounders is a great example, right? Rounders it's not campy, but Rounders is definitely a more of a cultish movie. Yeah. It was never huge in the theaters, but like if you like poker, you've heard about it, and some people rave about it. I would love a movie like that.
All right. So instead of actually reviewing a business book, which would probably make all the sense in the world because we're the Nice Guys on Business podcast, maybe tomorrow, I actually want to spend just a moment. It actually was the topic that I have for tomorrow's show anyway. I want to spend just a moment or two talking about my dad's book, You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar.
Interesting. So are we going to skip today's topic and not come back to it? We're going to try and get both of them tomorrow.
Maybe eventually we'll come back to it, but probably not.
Okay, I won't even bring it up then. So we don't want to disappoint people if we don't actually get to it.
All right. So Nice Guy community, never underestimate. That's very good. Never underestimate the power of nice. No interview today. Interview is coming on Friday. Yesterday's interview. Again, if you have not had a chance to listen to Nicole Holland, go back yesterday's episode number 233 and check that out. We are doing well. Are on our way to catapulting to 40,000 downloads this month. Thank you, everybody. Is it time for Steve?
Yeah, Steve O'Brien, take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Well, that's 20 minutes of my life I'll never get back. Oh, is it still on?